What is up, everyone? It's Chewburger84 from the Alternate Reality Network, and we are back again with some Strike Force content. Now, today we're going to be talking about Fear the Darkness. But don't worry, there is nothing to fear. Well, actually, there's a lot to fear, which we're going to talk about right now. So, I'm going to talk about my experience with this game mode so far. I'm going to tell you about the team that I used to first get in here. And then what I really want to do is to help you learn from my mistakes. Because even though I'm making some good progress, I mean, it's only been about a week and I'm into the final throws, the very tough section already. There's definitely some ways I could have been further ahead of where I am right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about characters perhaps that I would rethink choosing to bring into this game mode. So I've wasted a lot of materials that I didn't need to. I've asked a lot of questions of a lot of different people what they would take in. Some advice I listened to, some I should have listened to but didn't. But let's go through, this game mode and where I am right now. So I'm at 62% cleared. Why am I rushing this? Like, why did I not wait until I had the perfect team? The answer is Ultron. Now, Ultron is going to be arena defining. Ultron is going to be blitz defining. Ultron is going to be alliance war defining. Ultron is going to be raid defining. Like, he provides benefits and boosts to every single game mode. Regardless of what farm you are working on right now, if you want one tip from Chewburger84 ever, is farm for this character. But don't waste your materials, okay? Because you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely run out of the orange materials that you earned from the very first Into the Darkness, which I have done. I'm now having to buy some of that basic orange gear, like the catalyst and that sort of thing, from the store, purely because I chose characters that immediately after I finished Into the Darkness, I started putting all the orange gear into my shield team, thinking this is going to be great, not realizing how difficult it is to get the uniques that you need. Now, I'll show you the team that I started with and then the team that I've evolved it to from there. So as you can see, I've got 7 different characters to choose from right now. And I'll talk about where I sort of pick and choose who and why and where, depending on what I'm coming up against. Now, when I first started, the team that I was using was pretty much what you see up on the screen, but it was with Assault. Now, what I found with this particular team is that obviously there's a lot of squish there, okay? There's no defense ups. There's nothing to really stop that team from just getting eaten by some sort of large attack, all right? There was nothing to really prevent them from getting smashed. I still don't have that. I'm still banking on Fury to try and get that in the next week or so, all depending on how those serums drop. Now, Security, he's a great tank, but if all of these characters have their health whittled down below 50%, he's only going to taunt the once. And until Minerva can go off, that means you're kind of in a hole. You can't get a heal off. He can't taunt again. It's bad, to be honest. So a character that can taunt on command is great. Otherwise, you need Minerva to be healing more frequently. Now, for me, because I'd been using Jessica Jones in a hybrid team, I'd been bringing her up anyway. So what I started doing was alternating taking out either Assault or Pyro, depending, and bringing JJ in as well. Now, a lot of people in my alliance and from our Discord have asked me, why did I choose Pyro as one of the characters that I brought through first? One answer is that he was literally the first character I had 12 unique materials to be able to take him up to T13. That definitely played a part. But I love Pyro's kit because I remember the first Dark Dimension that the amount of heal over times, defense ups, taunts are just so irritating. And the fact that he can prevent them from 2 turns from getting any buffs whatsoever, and then number 2, being able to just wipe off anything that they do get after that with his AoE. Now those burns do quite a lot of damage as well. So for me, it was a no-brainer to bring him in. And for the most part, he has been great. But let me tell you something that this raid has a lot of, that if you're going to pick a character like Pyro, you need to be aware of. So if I had my time again, if I'd really looked at every node that was on this map, so for example, one that can be quite troublesome for Pyro is mission number 10. Okay, I had to do a lot of attacks over a couple of days here to be able to get this done. Now, the reason that Pyro really struggles here is because of our good buddy Deadpool. Now, the Deadpool mechanics in this game mode are not always the same. So earlier on, you come up against one Deadpool who has a lot of health, but he does not heal and clear debuffs, all right? You just hit him like a normal character, which I thought, all right, this is great. I'm so glad I picked Pyro. I'm going to eat this raid alive. But then there are two nodes, one like the one I just showed you, that has 4, 5, or even 6 Deadpools. Now, with a very debuff heavy team, and let's analyze this. You have shield security. He's going to hit with his basic. That's going to put us slow. Deadpool can heal from that. Quake, slow or offense down. She can heal from that. Pyro, everything that he does puts a debuff on the target. Minerva, even her heal puts a debuff on the target. Her primary puts a debuff on the target. JJ and Assault were the only options that I had to be able to do it. So I struggled so much on that node. Like, I was clearing this game mode so fast. Then I hit that Deadpool node, and yeah, it was a nightmare because all the Deadpools were left alive. They were just basically popping out and one-shotting every 3 or 4 turns with their special ability that obviously can go around the shield security. So what I ended up doing was swapping out the Pyro and swapping out the Quake, putting in Assault, and then bringing up Star-Lord, who's a great character, and I had 4 stars on both anyway. And then being able to feed all that more energy into Minerva, okay, was a huge game changer. So leaving the JJ out, putting those 2 in, taking out the Pyro, yeah, it worked out really, really well. So I ended up one-shotting it after that. So if I had to pick 2 characters above all else that played absolutely tremendously together, and a lot of people did tell me this beforehand, Star-Lord, Minerva. Put Star-Lord in this spot right here. Put the Minerva in the spot right next to it. Those 2 are going to work tremendously well together, okay? You can use the single target hits on your Deadpools, for example, so they're not going to get any debuffs. You can just slowly whittle them down over time. But the passive energy that he provides to Minerva, the active on his blinds that he provides to her. I mean, there was a couple of nodes where I was running these 2 together, JJ and this, and it felt like I was healing every turn. Now, it's a 7 energy cooldown for her heal. But if you don't think that Minerva is good, you are 100% kidding yourself. So I don't even have a good Minerva. Let's have a look at my Minerva right now. Still on the Wakandans from the last video. Professional there, Chris. All right. So have a look at my Minerva. She's only 5 yellow stars and 2 red. I mean, that's nothing to write home about. But the reason that she is so amazing for this game mode is that she's going to take 15% health away. Just wipe it off and give it to your team from every opposition character on the map. Now, the reason this is so powerful in Fear the Darkness is because the characters are so overpowered with their health. So pretty much you can take your entire team, doesn't matter if they're heal blocked, doesn't matter what's going on, take them from 0 to 100 in milliseconds. But the real winning part of this, I mean, the heal's fantastic, don't get me wrong. But the fact that you can instantly wipe off 15% health of every single character on the map makes it one of the most powerful AoE abilities that you can use for damage in this game mode. Now, some people already know this, some people may not. But this particular mechanic actually bypasses death proof. So if you use this and you have like 5 or 6 characters all together with just that red sliver of health, then you can basically wipe them all off the map, even if a Groot had just put death proof on all of them. All right? It doesn't hit the death proof and then you have to wait for the next attack. It just takes those players off the board behind the death proof. So this is such a phenomenal ability that it makes her incredible. Now, Fear the Darkness, eventually RNG is gonna hurt you, all right? And when you've been playing it for like 15, 20 minutes to try and get that perfect RNG and you're like, I really do not want to restart this because I've lost my tank, no worries, boom, resurrect that character. No matter what team you're thinking about bringing in right now, Minerva is non-negotiable. Everyone else is, but Minerva, save yourself the time, the effort, the misery, you want her. Now, if you're a free-to-play player, if you are someone who's relatively new, you missed the event that she had, and you can't farm her, I'm not going to lie, you're going to struggle in ways that a lot of us that are coming through now did not. I mean, I have so much respect for those guys that went into Fear the Darkness before this character was in the game, because she makes this node, she makes this game, she makes Fear the Darkness just absolutely doable. I mean, the speed that you can clear through with Minerva, even a bad Minerva like mine, is insane. And I'm seeing like 4, 5, 6 red stars out there, and I'm like, wow. I could only imagine what kind of effort that she's able to put in on those nodes. So, yeah, for me, the real keys are obviously trying to prevent anything that you know is going to hurt you from behind your tank. All right, so anything you can do, like using a pyro or some sort of a blocking mechanic, is tremendous. Anything you can do to clear cleansers off of your team, whether it's a JJ, whether it's something like a Kree Noble, though I don't know that I'd bring in her into a team like this, is obviously very good, because you're going to be able to remove those slows from your team. Now, Quake I put in because I remember how good she was in the original Fear the Darkness. Yeah, Into the Darkness, sorry. I did do most of my work with my Fury team, but until I had that finished, I was using that Quake Widow combo of speed up, slow down. And that's why I really want to get Fury in here soon as well, to be able to have that speed up, slow down mechanic. So you've got 100% speed advantage versus the opposition. So her heal comes in her speed down is unbelievably great, especially with how close together the enemies generally are on these maps. You do one basic and you've got one half. You do your next turn basic, you've got the other half. Her offense up is great. Offense down. So you wait for her ult, you put it on characters that you know are about to go bananas, and then you basically stop them from being able to, wipe you off the board. So what I would advise you to do is look for a team that has a great tank, has Minerva, has someone that can feed energy to Minerva. Star-Lord is a great choice. I mean, Star-Lord, Minerva together, I think it is the best combination variant of all of that. JJ is good, but so reliant on RNG that I did it for the first 4 or 5 days of my run through this game mode so far. It's a struggle. When you're getting 3, 4 energy pops straight down onto Minerva, it's fantastic. When you do 3 energy refreshes back to back and she gets none, it's terrible. Use someone reliable, use Star-Lord. A lot of people have asked about, well, what about Thanos? Thanos, I'm going to be able to feed all the energy in the world. Remember that the enemies that you are hitting are going to be very, very tanky. You are not going to be killing that frequently. So you want something that's going to get energy very, very often. And obviously Star-Lord on such a short cooldown, the fact that he's giving himself energy every other turn as well, means that he's going to be doing that energy feed to Minerva, if not every turn, every second turn. I think those two are perfect together. So get yourself a nice beefy tank. Get yourself, obviously, Minerva. I know she's not farmable right now, but to be honest, that is the advice. Get yourself an energy feed, and then you want some DPS. Now, you may want to run a second tank. A lot of people are talking about Groot as a good option because he's just able to keep that team alive. You've got death proof in case something goes really badly. You've got defense up a lot. You've got that heal. You've got that cleanse. I think Groot can be a good choice, because what's more often important in this particular game mode, especially when you have Minerva, is just basically surviving. All right, the more that you survive, the more damage you'll put out over a period of time. Yes, it will take you longer per session to be able to kill things. However, it may cost you less days overall to be able to actually clear this game mode, because you're not dying and then having to wait 24 hours for everything to reset. So I think going more for durability, going more for keeping yourself alive and healthy seems to be better choices than going for that, bang, bang, ultimate really quick damage. I wouldn't rack in a Rocket and Gamora, for example. I think Rocket's a decent choice if you're bringing in Star-Lord, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to be able to feed him that energy from Star-Lord because Minerva needs all of it. Just simply chip away 15% health at a time. And remember, that's only 10 uses of her heal. Potentially, you're able to kill an entire team. So, yeah, I think that going for a sustainable team is something that I would recommend much more than going for that super bursty team. Like a Brotherhood. Brotherhood, you're going to go in, throw everything on the tracks, do really, really great, and then be able to walk away. Now, mags I do like for this game mode. I mean, if you're able to congest all of their characters to be adjacent next to each other, it means that Quake and Pyro can just go nuts. The only downside of him is that he doesn't do a lot in between his cooldowns. So, you know, if you haven't got an energy feeder for mags either, that's not as beneficial. You know, I was kicking around some ideas with a couple of guys the other day that, you know, one team that could be really fascinating would be, what if Star-Lord fed energy consistently to mags, and then you just use a different healer, and then you just regularly just blind the entire map, you know? Then you constantly have their tank not being able to get any buffs either. So there are definitely ways around it, but I think just really going for that chip approach, making sure that they're not getting health back from heals, and just chipping away bit by bit using Minerva is definitely the way that I would recommend doing it if I was you. I would also not recommend taking in 7 characters the way I have. I need to, because of what I've chosen. I now have a team that I can bounce around and be flexible with based on what I need per run. You know, if I have things that are buffing all the time, like for example, the node that I'm on right now with all these guys here. I mean, you've constantly got snipers throwing up boosts onto the characters around them. You've constantly got Yondu stealing buffs from you, or, you know, procking up offense up on themselves to give more benefits on their next turn. You know, anything you can do with Pyro to block that or strip that is tremendous. So I really like my team now with that flexibility, but I think you could definitely pick a team of 5 that is much, much, much better without all you needing the same material. Like, for example, you're not going to be able to bring in Wakanda to this game node anytime soon because they all need Vibranium unique. So, look, I've said this in the last couple of videos that I've done, but the thing you really need to do right now, if you're an endgame player, for you, for your alliance, for progression in general, Ultron is going to make your gaming experience so much easier if you can get him. Don't rush in a bad way, because you're going to end up taking much longer to be able to do things, because you're going to have to pick other characters the same way that I did, which is going to cost you farm down the track. It might delay you being able to spec up Ultron to then bring him back into this same game mode for the timed version. My advice is pick the right combination of team. If you need help with that, come on over to the Strike Force Masters launch channel. That's where all of our podcast discussions happen. We've got a channel right there for theory crafting. We're more than happy to talk you guys through it. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys have about specific nodes. What was my experience? What to look out for? More than happy to do it. People have asked, why haven't I been doing videos as I've gone through the Dark Dimension? The answer is this. I am an RNG addict in the sense that I want that perfect RNG to get the most out of every attempt, so I don't waste a day in Dark Dimension. And I restart so many times that if I had to talk through every choice that I made with you for, let's say, like 20 minutes, and then I had to redo it again and again and again, I'd drive me and you crazy. You'd be able to tell that I was over it. So what I'm going to do is maybe the last couple of nodes, because I think they're going to be the ones most of us are going to want to know how to get past anyway. You know, obviously having Mordo heal blocking, not a big deal with Minerva, but Miss Marvel has always been a real pain in the butt because she can heal so much. So that means you probably have to leave her up and just eat the Spideys and Gamoras. But this Ultron node, man, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, man, there are bad things in my future. I mean, looking at that node there, I'm so glad that I have a JJ right now, because I've got Spider-Man throwing defense down. I've got shield security going to be throwing speed down. I've got Venom throwing out dots like it's rain. I've got Pyro making it rain fire. Man, having a cleanser on that particular node, I mean, wow, that's going to be rough. Not even to mention the fact that there is a, you know, 117761 Ultron. Dude, I am not looking forward to this at all. At least in this one, they don't have what they did from Into the Darkness, which was shield operatives that were just going to be healing up random characters frequently. I know that Ultron has some minions that he drops that are going to be able to throw a little bit of healing and defense up around. But luckily, I've got my Pyro to burn a lot of that away. I think the Trooper is going to be the most irritating. So I think I may do a video on that node, and we can celebrate me when I finally do unlock Ultron in probably, I don't know, maybe a month from now. I mean, from here on out, it's going to be slow going. I have no doubt in my mind. But I hope you got something out of this video. If you want to continue this conversation, make sure you head on over to the Strike Force Masters Launch Discord. You can always leave your feedback in your comments or even questions below in the YouTube comments. I'd love it if you like, subscribed, and hit the bell so you make sure you keep getting great alternate reality content. But until then, that's it from me. Thank you very much. See you soon.